Imagine being 20 years old, ranked 140th in the world, walking into one of the biggest tennis tournaments on the planet as a wild card, and then just taking it apart. Not stumbling through. Not getting lucky. Systematically, calmly, almost ruthlessly dismantling player after player who had no business losing to you on paper. That's what Alex did in Miami in 2025. And that one run, those few weeks in Florida, set off a chain reaction that the sport of tennis, and honestly the entire global marketing industry, was completely unprepared for. Today we're going to talk about what's really happening around this young woman from the Philippines, because it goes so much deeper than tennis. It goes deeper than sponsorships. What's unfolding around Alex right now is something that comes along maybe once in a generation, and the people who are supposed to be in control of this sport are quietly, frantically, trying to figure out what to do about it. Let's start at the beginning, because context matters here. Alexandra Eala was born in Quezon City in 2005 into a family that understood achievement. Her mother was the CFO of Globe Telecom and a former national swimmer. Her brother played college tennis at Penn State. So the foundation was there, the discipline, the environment, the understanding of what it takes to compete seriously. But even with all of that, nobody draws a straight line from that household in the Philippines to the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. She moved there at 12 years old, training alongside some of the best young players in the world, absorbing a culture of excellence that the Nadal Academy is genuinely famous for. She picked up Spanish. She was already fluent in Tagalog and English. 3 languages before she was a teenager. Junior Grand Slam titles started coming. Australian Open doubles in 2020, French Open doubles in 2021, and then the one that really mattered, the 2022 US Open girls singles. First Filipino ever to win a Junior Grand Slam singles title. That's the kind of milestone that gets you a headline back home, a celebration, maybe a sponsorship or two. What it doesn't usually get you is global brand chaos. That came later. That came from Miami. March 2025. She walks in ranked 140th, granted a wild card because the tournament wants local excitement and emerging stories. What they got was something nobody scripted. First match, fine. Then Yelena Ostapenko, a former Roland Garros champion, gone. Then Madison Keys, a US Open champion, gone. Then Iga Swiatek, the world number one of the greatest players of her generation, gone. 3 major champions, straight sets, 1 wild card, 1 week. People kept refreshing the draw to make sure they were reading it right. She lost to Jessica Pegula in the semis, but by that point the story had already written itself. No wild card in history had beaten 3 major champions in straight sets at a single WTA event. She became the first Filipino woman to defeat a major champion at tour level in the Open era. The first to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal. These weren't small footnotes. These were seismic, and the world felt it. Now here's where the story pivots, because this is where it stops being just a sports story. Brands didn't take a meeting. Brands didn't send emails through agents following the standard process. Brands started moving fast, in ways that the WTA's commercial infrastructure simply wasn't designed to process. Because the WTA has a system. It's decades old. Agencies connect with management teams, pitches go through the proper channels, deals get announced when everything is signed and settled. Clean, predictable, controlled. Alex didn't break that system on purpose. She just became something that the system had no category for. Globe Telecom had been with her since she was 8 years old, which in hindsight looks like the smartest sponsorship decision in Philippine corporate history. Babola supplies her racket. Nike was already in her corner, but then Nike started doing things that Nike doesn't typically do for players who haven't cracked the top 20. In July 2025, they gifted her a custom hair tie shaped like the Sampaguita blossom, the national flower of the Philippines. Then in August they released a limited edition shirt inspired by her, designed by Filipino artist Georgina Camus, featuring that same flower laid over the grass of Wimbledon. Read that again slowly. Nike. Limited edition. Cultural merchandise. For a player not yet ranked inside the top 20. That's not a sponsorship. That's myth-making. Nike wasn't buying her results. They were buying her narrative, and they were investing in it before the rest of the world even caught up to what they were seeing. The Bank of the Philippine Islands signed her, promoting financial literacy and discipline. Locally, Juice brought her on in mid-2025. Milo came in February 2026. And all of this before a WTA title. All of this while she was still climbing. Some inside the industry started whispering a name. Emma Raducanu. And it's a fair comparison on the surface. Raducanu came out of nowhere in 2021, won the US Open as a qualifier, and the brand world absolutely lost its mind. Porsche, Dior, Tiffany, British Airways, the offers came so fast it was difficult to track. But here's the thing about that comparison, and this is where things get really interesting. Raducanu's story was extraordinary, but it was anchored to Britain. Mixed British, Romanian, Chinese heritage gave her a multicultural edge, sure, but the gravitational pull was largely Western. Alex's story pulls in a fundamentally different direction. The Philippines has a population of 115 million people. The Filipino diaspora scattered across the world numbers over 12 million more. These are communities in the Middle East, in North America, in Europe, in Japan, in Australia, all of them deeply connected to home, all of them watching Alex play matches at 2 or 3 in the morning because of time differences, because missing it simply isn't an option. That's not a fan base. That's a force of nature. And global brands know the difference. Sky Sports presenter Gigi Salmon said something that stopped a lot of people in their tracks. She described Alex as possibly already being the biggest star in women's tennis in terms of pure crowd appeal. And then she mentioned something that really crystallizes the whole situation. Coco Gauff, a 2-time Grand Slam champion, apparently felt the need to apologize to fans after a match because they were waiting to see Alex next. Coco Gauff apologizing to Alex's crowd. Think about the weight of that moment. The WTA system was built around players like Coco, Swiatek, Sabalenka. The established champions, the ranking holders, the faces on the posters. When one of those champions is deferring to the crowd of a player ranked outside the top 30, something fundamental has shifted, and the tour knows it. Now let's talk about where things get messy, because this story has a complicated middle. Filipino sports journalist Dian Castro put it plainly when he said Alex is already being treated like a multiple Grand Slam winner. The comparison he drew wasn't to another tennis player. He compared the cultural weight of her rise to Manny Pacquiao. Let that land for a second. Pacquiao was so beloved in the Philippines that crime rates would reportedly drop during his fights because everyone, and I mean everyone, was watching. That's the level of national feeling being discussed here. And when a player generates that kind of emotional gravity, the commercial world doesn't walk toward her. It sprints. But sprinting creates chaos, and chaos creates misinformation. False stories started circulating online. A claimed Emirates Airlines deal with no official announcement. A viral post alleging a $45 million Wilson Sporting Goods contract. Fact checkers shut both of them down. Neither was real. And this is where it gets almost surreal. The fake stories about Alex generated more engagement than real announcements about other players. The misinformation economy around her name took on a life of its own. People wanted so badly for the next big deal to be true that rumors spread faster than official press releases ever could. And inside WTA headquarters, that reality reportedly became part of the conversation. Not just how do we manage her commercial rise, but how do we manage a player whose cultural presence is so large that fabricated news about her travels further than confirmed news about our champions? That is a genuinely unprecedented problem for a sports organization to have. Because the issue isn't just about one player being popular. It's about the core assumption that the whole commercial model rests on, that rankings equal value, that titles equal worth, that the tour controls the story of its own stars. Alex has, without any apparent intention, decoupled all 3 of those assumptions at once. She was ranked 45 in the world at the most recent update after dropping from her career high of 29 following her round of 16 exit in Miami in 2026. 45th in the world. And yet she's the player brands are racing toward at midnight. She's the player that fills practice courts like concert venues. She's the player that a two-time Grand Slam champion feels the need to acknowledge in her own post-match moment. The system was not built for this. After a grueling 3-hour and 20-minute match in Miami this year, someone asked Alex how she prepares for players who are physically bigger or stronger. Her answer was thoughtful and precise. She talked about different layers to her game, about not just relying on power, about the ongoing process of getting stronger while still leaning into everything else she brings. Different layers. It's such a perfect phrase for what she is commercially as well. She's not just a tennis player brands want to slap their logo on. She's an athlete who trained at a world-class academy in Spain while speaking 3 languages. She's a fashion figure who appeared on the cover of Vogue Philippines at 17 and Tatler Philippines at 19. She's a national symbol. She's a story that hasn't finished being written yet. And that's precisely what makes the commercial frenzy make complete sense when you step back and look at it clearly. Brands aren't buying who she is today. They're buying who they believe she's going to become. They're getting in early on a narrative they're convinced is going to get much, much bigger. And the evidence for that belief is stacking up fast. She's already confirmed for the Linz Open, the Stuttgart Open, and the Madrid Open in April 2026. Clay season. A surface that rewards patience, variety, and the kind of tactical intelligence she's shown she absolutely has. Every tournament is another opportunity. Another chapter. Another moment where the world might stop and look at a court in Europe and see a 20-year-old from Quezon City doing something nobody expected. Alex herself said it after Miami last year in an interview with the Indian Wells Open website. She talked about how that tournament was the beginning, but also about how much she's grown since, how many tough matches and hard losses have built her into something more complete. She said she knows she belongs. And honestly, watching the way she carries herself, watching the way she competes, it's hard to argue. There's a word that keeps coming up when marketers and journalists talk about her. Authentic. It sounds simple. It sounds like something people say without really meaning much. But in the world of modern sports marketing, where fans can detect manufactured moments from a mile away, authenticity is genuinely the most valuable thing an athlete can have. And Alex has it in a way that you simply cannot manufacture. She's not playing a character. She's not performing relatability. She's exactly who she appears to be, and the whole world can feel the difference. That's why the crowds follow her to practice. That's why the diaspora sets alarms for 3 a.m. That's why Nike creates mythology around her before she's won a title. You can't buy that. You can't engineer it. It either exists or it doesn't, and with Alex, it exists at a level that comes around maybe once in a decade. The arc of what's happened to her career in the span of roughly 12 months is genuinely historical. ITF circuits to wildcard entries to WTA 1000 semifinals to career-high world number 29 and the highest ranking any Filipino woman has ever held in WTA history. All of that before her 21st birthday. All of that and still, by any reasonable measure, near the beginning of what this career could actually become. That's the phrase that should keep brand executives awake at night. Still near the beginning. Because if this is what the beginning looks like, if 300 brands pursuing her, a cultural footprint that spans continents, a crowd magnetism that makes Grand Slam champions step aside, if this is the opening chapter, then the question of what comes next isn't just interesting for tennis. It's one of the most fascinating questions in global sports right now. And here's where we land. The WTA built a machine. It built that machine carefully, over decades, to manufacture and manage and monetize the biggest stars in women's tennis. It was a good machine. It worked for a long time. And then Alex Eala walked onto a court in Miami ranked 140th in the world and started winning matches she had no right to win, and something irreversible happened. The machine didn't break, but it started struggling to explain what it was looking at. Because what it was looking at wasn't just a talented young player having a great week. It was a cultural phenomenon in real time, a story that was writing itself faster than any marketing department could follow. A young woman from the Philippines who turned a sports commercial assumptions inside out simply by being exactly, completely, unapologetically herself. The brands chasing her aren't wrong. History tends to reward the people who recognize something real before everyone else does. And what's real here is a player who has already changed women's tennis in ways that go beyond the scoreboard, and who hasn't even reached the peak of what she's capable of yet. When that first Grand Slam title comes, and the way she competes and the trajectory she's on make it feel like a question of when rather than if the 300 brands become 3,000. The conversation stops being about commercial potential and starts being about legacy. And on that day, one question is going to matter more than any other. Did the WTA build this star? Or did she build herself? I think you already know the answer.